Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of One Another Marriage, where we seek to strengthen relationships for greater satisfaction and impact on the world around you. That's why we're here.
Hi, everyone.
How's everyone doing?
Well, I hope they're doing well.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they are.
This is an exciting week, isn't it?
Yes. Why?
Well,
Because of the content.
Because of the content.
Oh, okay. I was like, is there something else you're springing on me that I don't know?
Surprise.
Because we're going on a major trip.
Nope.
I don't know.
Hey,
yeah. We just won.
This would be a great time to reveal, wouldn't it?
It would be. You would totally catch me off guard.
I would.
And you've done that before. So.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Okay.
we're staying at home. Life's boring. No, it's not, but
you get to go mow the lawn. All right.
This is not why people have tuned in today, though.
It is not.
Is it tuning in with a podcast? Is it tune into a podcast? Or is it, because you really don't, because tune in is from a radio program. Oh, that's my puzzle today.
Oh, well, there you go. We're just going to
puzzle.
Let's just go into it.
I do have something else
besides
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should
we do that first before we
do you want me to unpack the episode, or do you want to go into your puzzle?
Unpack the episode.
Okay, I will. So, all right. So this is part 3. We have been discussing personalities, and particularly using the Myers-Briggs temperament. And we, in part 1 and part 2, we were unpacking the 4 dichotomies, which if you have not listened to those, we encourage you to go back and listen to part 1 and part 2. And then part 3 will make so much more sense to you. But we are talking about personalities of each individual in the relationship, and then how you can merge the best parts of your personalities and use them as a strength, and the areas where you might have more of a dichotomy, where you might be opposite of each other, and then you can use them as your challenges. And in part 3 here, we are going to be giving you the fun part, which is ocean animals, where we have the 4 different ocean animals represented, and which personality types they coordinate with.
Everybody is an ocean animal. And so today we find out what ocean animal that you are out there, one another couples individually, and how you connect. And Theresa and I will do the big reveal because we will share what ocean animal we are. And that is the episode today. Mm-hmm. But hey, can I do the shout out real quick?
Sure.
Okay. The shout out this week is to, and every week we try to give a shout out to those one another couples that are out there. There's one another couple out there, or whether it's somebody, but whoever lives in Atmore, Alabama.
Wow.
Atmore, Alabama, we give you a shout out. You are a regular listener. According to our stats here.
Welcome.
And so we give a shout out to Atmore, Alabama. Who do we know? Do we know anyone in Atmore? I don't think we do.
No, we don't know anybody personally, but thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.
And and if that's you, bravo, congratulations. We appreciate your listen and connecting in with us every week.
Thank you for listening. And thank you to everybody, but we specifically want to say, I don't even know where Atmore, Alabama is. And here's what I'm discovering as we look at our listeners and where everybody is from. Like we highlighted Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, I believe it was. Yeah. And so that actually was a suburb of Milwaukee.
Okay.
And then we highlighted Idaho City.
Yes.
Idaho before.
Yes.
And that's, I believe, a suburb of Boise.
Okay.
We have not heard from any of these shout outs yet, and this is the invitation. If you are listening and you are from any of these cities that we shout out, please reach out to us. Find us you can send an email. Email is an easy way to do it. info@oneanothermarriage.org, and say, hey, we want to introduce ourselves. We are one another couple, and we are from Atmore, Alabama, or wherever we give a shout out from.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
we love our couples.
There you go.
We love the
I'm
one
actually
another couples. Are you looking it
I'm
up?
looking it up. I'm trying to see. It would take us about 12 hours to get there.
Folks,
yeah, so
we'll be there shortly.
Yeah, we'll be there. So,
Let's
yeah.
get in the car. We'll be there by morning.
It is slightly due northeast of Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile.
So Mobile is down on the Gulf.
Yeah.
And it's actually, okay, this is interesting. It's actually almost due north of Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
So where the handle of Florida comes over there. Yeah, Pensacola due north, Atmore, Alabama.
Oh, you know what?
So, there you go.
I think our nephew lives in that area.
Aha. Maybe it is
if
you.
This is our nephew.
Okay.
I'd never heard of Atmore, Alabama, but if this is our nephew, reach out, give a shout out.
There you go.
So, hey, I have actually, my puzzle is gone.
Yes.
That
puzzle's gone. Okay.
Give me the puzzle. I actually have a looking forward to a goal.
Oh,
and
okay.
so as our Love Step goals that we've taught, and you can go back to our previous podcast when we talked about Love Step goals, a great communication tool that Theresa and I have taught those one another couples out there, and we encourage you to go back to that podcast and listen. But the last element of that daily communication, and like what our puzzles maybe is goals. It's what are you looking forward to? What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams?
Sure.
And so mine for today, for you, honey, is I'm really looking forward to our family trip, that our annual family trip that's coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We are going to, in fact, that's this weekend, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
This weekend we are going. That just struck me that's happening this weekend. Wow. That's and because we're so planned ahead, and this is once again those the planning that you and I do in our personalities from number one and number two. So again, we're very planned out. So we have it all planned. But I'm looking forward to this weekend as we go away with our kids and our grandchild as well. And
so all of our kids. Yep, everybody's coming.
Look forward to that. That's an annual thing that we do. It has been camping in the past, and we have we've moved to an Airbnb in the same general area that we have been going traditionally.
But still a new location. So we are looking forward to that, and the fact that it's an Airbnb, and that'll be different because, I think we may go to tent camping again at a different time. But right now, I just think. Yeah, it works out best, especially with Sedona. So, yep.
Yeah, Sedona's the grandbaby.
Yeah.
Those that don't know. Hey, so what are you on the trip? What are you looking forward to? Don't you have something planned for us to go? Is there a specific store? What? Yes. I forget. What is this?
Okay, so
you have Theresa here, folks. Just to explain, Theresa has certain elements of the vacation that I just be like, I trust that she has it handled, but she'll give me highlights. But remind me, what is this?
I will. So a while ago, I found this store because I was kind of, when we were settling into the location and finding the Airbnb, I tend to look at what's available in the area. What is there to do, right? And a lot of times we don't go do much. I mean, usually we're just doing some day hikes or something like that. But I did find this store, and it is called Sweets and Geeks.
Wow.
So Sweets and Geeks, it's in Medina, Ohio. Shout out to them. And no, they are not a sponsor of this podcast.
But they'd be welcome to be a sponsor.
But basically,
based on that name,
it is a candy and novelty toy store that has literally, I think, everything that we know our kids have enjoyed over the years and aren't into, plus almost every variety of candy, the old, old kind of candy, the $5 and dime stores to the new and present, whatever's out there. So I just thought it would be fun to just travel and go do something and I'm sure that everybody can find something that they would enjoy, and it just gives us a kind of a location to go visit. Maybe we'll get catch lunch or dinner
yeah.
out on that. But yeah, so
That sounds
sweets
like fun.
and geeks.
Every time we go to a new city, we try to find, there's always that like candy, like vintage candy. I just found one when I had a bucket list opportunity to go to Indianapolis and went to the Indianapolis Speedway. And like 2 blocks from the Speedway, there is exactly like a old time candy store.
Oh, yeah.
And the old sodas and everything. I didn't buy anything. But,
yeah, I know.
yeah.
It's not like you and I go there and we just, spend lots of money. It's more of just, it's fun to just kind of go and look around and reminisce. I mean, for you and I, the ages that we are now, we can reminisce.
That's
Our
right.
kids are like, wow, this, and it's like, that was back in the 70s, children.
It brings back memories. The prices aren't the same.
No, they're not.
They are not. Well, hey, speaking of Medina, isn't our friend who created Ocean of Types from that area as well?
Well, not from that area. They were living there when he created.
When he created it.
They do not live in that location anymore.
No, but let's give a shout out to the creator of what we're covering tonight, and that is a friend of ours, Dr. Joseph Tucker.
Yes.
And his research of the Myers-Briggs Temperament Inventory led him to create these 4 ocean animals to help people remember their personality type much more clearly.
Sure.
Because if you go back and listen, if you haven't listened to the last 2 episodes that we've had on personality, there's a lot of complexity there. I mean, there are 4 different dichotomies, and we're going to review those really quick here in a moment, just for those that did not listen, and otherwise for the detail, listen back on it. But those 4, and if you put all the combinations, there are 16 different combinations. And so really, if you want to do a deep dive, we encourage that, where you're like, okay, my letters make me kind of this personality, and I looked that up and I learned more about myself. And so that's important to do. Do that for sure. But of the 16 types, you can divide those 16 types into 4 different major categories. Let me review really quick the dichotomies. So introversion, extroversion. The question is where you gain your energy. Do you like the outer world? You're extroverted. Inner world, introverted. The next one would be, and this is all important to review, especially these middle ones. Introversion, extroversion is not going to play in today real strongly. But the next one would be sensing and intuition. Sensing is more of a detail orientation with the way you take information in, or it's big picture, where intuitive are big picture, more dreamers, more when it comes to like big plans, goal setters, they see the future. Sensing is more present and the present senses. The third one is thinking and feeling. This is how you make decisions based upon, and so feeling is more making decisions based upon relationships and values, and thinking is making decisions based upon logic and rational processes. And the last one are judging and perceiving. And so, in case hopefully I haven't lost everybody, but this is a quick review. We did 2 podcasts covering all this. Judging and perceiving then would be how one operates to accomplish things ultimately, and how you process your activities. And that is, judging is someone that's very organized in achieving a goal or accomplishing a task, and they're very systematic. And one that is perceiving is more laid back with the process. They may fully well accomplish a task, but they may kind of be all over the place with it, or be more relaxed with how they're accomplishing their task. So judging and perceiving. Now, sensing, intuition, thinking, feeling, judging, perceiving are all going to come into play today.
Okay.
So,
yep.
And I know that I'm nerding out on people a little bit, but we can break it down this way. If you are a big picture person, then there's 2 different animals that you could be, ocean animals you could be.
Okay.
And that's that intuitive person, intuitive people. Intuitive people, you either, and this is work of the work that goes way back with the Myers-Briggs, where it divides into the 4. And so if you are more of an intuitive person, if you make your decisions based on relationships and values of feelings, then you are an NF. Just remember that. If you are big picture person, an intuitive person that makes more logical decisions, you are an NT. That's the second type. The third type is if you're sensing, if you're more of a detailed orientation person, and you are if you are organized, so you're a J, so it goes to the J, the judging, then you're an SJ.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are more of a laid back person and a sensing person, you're an SP.
Mm-hmm.
So hang with me on that. Those are the 4 types: NT, NF, SP, and SJ. Those are if you break them down that way.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose everyone already?
I think so. It sounds like, sorry, babe, but I think so.
Hang with. Did everyone write that down? There'll be a test.
It sounds
There'll
like
be a test at the end.
All those letters. I felt like we were like giving the names. I mean, we know that there's one rapper. He's called NF, and so I felt like we were like, that's his name. Yeah. If you're not familiar with his music, look him up sometime.
He should do our theme song.
He should.
Today.
He should. Also, not a sponsor of this podcast.
NF is not a sponsor.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So we got a lot of letters. All right. Let's get into it.
Let's go one at a time. So the first animal is, let's do the 2 animals that we are not.
Okay.
The ones that we are not.
We are not.
But we have family members, and we won't name them by name, but we're the first one is an NF.
Let's just say in our immediate family of 5, with you and I and our 3 kids, every animal, no, not every animal, sorry, 3 of the 4 animals are represented.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 of the 4. And I could tell Atmore, Alabama is already saying, why did I get this episode? Why did I get shout out on this episode? So hang with us, Atmore, Alabama. We know you're with us. And so here's the deal, is that NF, so these are intuitive feelers, and they are whales. Whales. And the reason they're whales is they're very relational. Whales are very relational. They will nurse their young for a long time, and they travel in pods, and they're more nurturing.
Their statement is, I'm here to help wthey you want me to or not.
That's right.
So that's a whale. I'm here to help whether you want me to or not.
They have really good interpersonal skills. They're supportive of other people. They're sympathetic. It's all about relationships. And they think of possibilities for people. And maybe this is you. Maybe you were confused by the 5-minute rant that I just went on about the dichotomies and the 4 different types, whatever. But just listen to this part. Does this describe you? You're good with interpersonal relationships. You're sympathetic. You see possibilities with people. Your cooperation is a key. It's you may have a vivid imagination, and but then again too, you can be hypersensitive to conflict, and you need encouragement and recognition. Integrity is a high thing for you, and you give strokes freely. Does that kind of describe you as a person? Then you may be a whale. These folks tend to have like diplomatic intelligence. They tend to tie work and relationships and activities to values that they turn into causes. They value harmony and interpersonal connectedness with one another. They tend to be aware or sensitive to other people's feelings, but then also their feelings are they're quick to feel or inflict guilt on other people. So that can turn. There's a dark side to each one of these, or a pitfall with each one of these. It's easy to hold grudges. They have trouble facing conflict. This is a huge piece, especially when it comes to marriage. Is a whale may struggle with delivering bad news or taking action when there's a negative reaction. Their tendency to carry and emotionally rescue people, even when people don't want saving.
Right.
And so there can be downsides to these, but it's like what we tell with the stress animals. It's like recognize and minimize. Recognize and minimize are the keys for this. And so these would be the whales.
Right. And we have a whale in our family. It's just not you or I. So
now, the people, if you aren't one of these, it's like that didn't describe you, and you're like, yeah, that's a bummer to be a whale. It's really not. Being a whale is a wonderful thing, and all 4 of these are wonderful.
They're wonderful.
You need all 4 of these in your life, and in a marriage, it's important to recognize if your partner is one of these and you are another, it's
Right.
like, how are you going to get along? And that's one thing that we're going to talk about before we wrap up today.
Right. Exactly. So that is the whale.
And so
Okay.
that's anyone that has an NF.
F.
You can be an I or an E.
You're
and
an
you can be a
intuitive
J or a P,
feeler.
but you're an intuitive feeler.
Okay.
The next N is when you are an intuitive and thinker. So you're logical. You're an intuitive, logical person. And
I thought we were going to do the two. We aren't.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. I
Okay.
thought we were doing it. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
You just said, yep, we're going to, sorry, folks. We're going to,
That's
We're
a
gonna,
good. Thanks for pumping the brakes on me there a
Yep.
little bit. That's
so
good.
we need to go.
Oh, go with that one. Yes.
Yep.
So this is going to be the
There we
sensing.
go.
You know what I was is I got on a train here
You were
just
on,
doing the
yep,
N.
you're doing the ends. I know, but
That's all right.
But we don't want to confuse our listeners because you said, let's share the two animals. We are not. So you and I are not a whale.
And we are not. That's right. We are not an SP. An SP is a sensing perceiver. So they're kind of detail orientation for today, and they are laid back and free. These folks are free spirits.
So their tagline is putting the fun in dolphin.
And the
They're
animal
a dolphin.
is a dolphin. That's right. So
Putting the fun in dolphin.
that's right. They're process oriented. They're fun loving. They're good in crisis situations because they can be more spontaneous with things. These are the folks that say, when all else fails, read the directions.
Yeah.
So maybe you're married to this person. You're married to the
Maybe.
person that's impulsive, needs freedom and space, or maybe you are, and they just want to do something. They're more flexible. They focus on the immediacy of things, not kind of on down the road.
Right.
They enjoy the moment, spontaneous. They like hands-on experiences, and they're action-oriented, most worry-free of the 4 ocean animals.
Right.
So they also tend to have some tactical intelligence, like they're realistic and practical, the hands-on, immediate, and resourceful for problem solving. But also the challenge with this being married to this person or being this person in marriage is that little or interest or concern beyond practical and immediate. They get bored easily and often, more starts than finishes, and a little concern for promises, procedures, and plans. This can be super frustrating to the more organized, kind of rigid person in a
Right.
marriage, and we may walk through that a little bit. So,
Right.
so the next, do you feel like a dolphin in your relationship, folks? Maybe you feel like a whale where you're super relational, or maybe you're a dolphin where you're more laid back. Theresa and I are not.
We are not dolphins, and we do not have a dolphin in our immediate 5. In the Mabry 5, original 5, we do not have a dolphin.
We do not.
So
We do not.
all right.
All right. The number
On
3.
to the two animals,
Do you want to do yours
which
first?
we are. I don't care.
Let's do yours first.
Sure.
Theresa is a sensing, judging, SJ. So sensing, judging.
Remember, that does not mean that I just judge people.
That's a
all
here
the
and
time.
now sensing, but then the judging is organized and systematic and
Practical.
getting things done. So this one is what's their phrase?
Their phrase is, I'll listen when you give me something to sink my pincers into.
So the animal is
A crab.
So Teresa's a crab.
A crab.
Now suspend, folks. I know right away you're out there thinking like, Teresa's crabby? What's the deal there? And so no.
That's what else it says. Just because I'm a crab doesn't mean I'm crabby.
That's right. That's right. So you're not crabby. But what it means is you have that hard shell exterior. It means that you're loyal to a system, to duty, super dependable. You resist change, preserve traditions, precise. You love this phrase, KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Procedures, decisive, stability. Because you think about a crab, they're stable,
Right.
right? They have it out there.
Low to the ground. Yep.
It's about
Stable.
shoulds and should nots. So social responsibility, structure, orderly, authority, dependent, right? Does that feel accurate for you?
Yep.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
So these folks are great. Their advantage is that they tend to have logistic intelligence, and they create structures and boundaries and operate within them. They're precise, organized, and scheduled. They're respectful of authority and tradition. These are the natural project managers. So they're the folks you want to kind of say, hey, this is where we're going. And they want you to say, this is where we're going. And then they say, let me work out how we're going to get there. So they're good with those details. Now, here's the downfall, though. Some of the downfalls of the dark side or pitfalls can be nitpick details or lose and miss the big picture.
Yes.
They adhere to structure and schedule and order to the point of rigidity, and then may do the wrong thing to stay on schedule or follow orders. Forget or refuse praise good behavior while quick to criticize for wrongdoing.
Right.
Does that sound familiar, honey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So definitely. Oh yeah, that's a big pitfall, downfall. Can forget or refuse to praise good behavior while quick to criticize. So always finding the negative in the situation and not praising the positive. And yeah, definitely. That's I am the solo crab in our family. And so definitely with the kids growing up and with you, I'm much more have a hard time giving the praise when praise is due, because I still see the one job that did not get done or the way the job was done. There's still a remnant of it, or I don't know, just something like that. So yeah, that's something I've always had to work on.
Yeah, but that's
especially because I'm not dealing with if we were a house full of crabs. I don't know, that would be different, but we're not.
Yeah, the pitfalls or
especially with the one whale that we have.
Yes, that's right. And so there's a real advantage to having a crab in your life, because
absolutely
you want that kind of organized. Now, when a crab is married to, and we're going to get to this later, but crab is married to a dolphin.
Ooh,
that could be a challenge.
That can be a challenge. Yeah.
And so, but that's all right, because the dolphin can help loosen up the crab, and the crab can help organize the dolphin. So, well, let's do the last one.
Crabs are also good to have in your workplace environment as well.
Yeah, so, you definitely need crabs in the workplace environment. The last one, though, is intuitive thinker, the intuitive thinker. So the big picture.
The NT.
The NT, big picture down the road, and very logical and rational in their thinking. These are the high achievers. And so what's our animal?
Well, the tagline is, follow me, you'll be happier back there.
Because
you are a shark.
You want to be behind a shark, not in front of a shark. And so
follow me, you'll be happier back there.
Sharks' personality profile type, they can smell a drop of blood in 1 million drops of seawater. They can detect the electromagnetic fields of the earth for direction, and they follow electrical impulses that animals emit. I like to say that it's like Bruce from Finding Nemo. Fish are friends, not food. So I'd like to say I'm a friendly shark.
Yes.
Not a mean shark. And
I also like the picture here of our shark. We have forms or pictures that we're looking at. And so the listeners, you're not seeing a picture, but just as you envision a shark, the mouth end is called the dangerous end.
Yes.
And the tail end is the safe end.
That's right.
So like David said, you want to be on the backside of a shark because they're leading their way. And if you're on that mouth end, you might get bit every now and then.
And you may be married to a shark, or you may be a shark in your relationship. These are the high achievers. They're knowledge seekers, objective perceptions, independent self-doubt at times, intellectually curious. They can conceptualize things easily. They love competition with self and with others. They're nonconformist, and they're wordsmiths as well. They have principles. They enjoy complexity. They are authority independent, architects of change, systems designers, and they could be argumentative. And they like to ask the question, what would happen if? What would happen if? And so they tend to have strategic intelligence. They're visionary, futuristic, and imaginative problem solvers. They're oriented towards continuous improvement. So these folks you want to have around, if I don't say so myself. But here are the pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
Non-personal analysis and argumentation can look uncaring, aloof, arrogant, and disrespectful of authority. They may miss the immediate in their focus on what if, and they have a tendency to make the simple complex, and they're impatient. They can be impatient, intolerant of incompetence, and dismissive of others' definitions of competence.
Correct.
How's that feel? Is that me?
How's that feel? How's it feel to you?
Yeah, I'm clearly a shark. I'm kind of a proud shark, though, as the description has, is that I clearly that's where I am, and but like I said, it's with the pitfalls, like all the personalities, you have to recognize that none of the four animals, no personality is perfect.
It's perfect,
totally.
right.
There's a dark side, a pitfall, a challenging side, a weak side to all of them, and it's a matter of recognizing those, so that, and then moving in a positive direction as possible.
Right.
And so let's review real quick. And so let's run down through the animals real quick, just so folks can remember.
Yeah.
So our first animal.
The first animal was the whale. Those were the NFs, the intuitive feelers.
And the key phrase.
I'm here to help, whether you want me to or not.
That may be you out there, folks. Keep these in mind. The next animal that we covered.
The next animal was the dolphin. And those would be your sensing perceivers, your SPs. And they put the fun in dolphin. So much ocean, so little time. That's what their tagline is.
I love having the dolphins around as long as they don't get in the way of getting things done.
And then my ocean animal type is the SJ. Those are the sensing judgers, judging. We are the crabs. I'll listen when you give me something to sink my pincers into. Mm-hmm. And then the NTs, the intuitive thinkers, that is you. You are sharks. You are a shark. It says, follow me. You'll be happier back there. So...
Yeah, and these folks are natural born leaders that are the sharks, but all types can be leaders, though. All the animals can be leaders. All the
animals can.
But they lead in different ways.
Right.
And so, once again, dolphins, crabs, whales, sharks, and those are the four ocean animals. Do you recognize yourself in some of those? This is the idea behind the podcast today, is that you would kind of pay attention to what you are, what your spouse may be, and even now as you're listening, consider what you may lean into. You may know what you are based upon, because you may have nerded out with us the last couple podcasts, and you've discovered what your Myers-Briggs is. And then so you already know when we're saying NT, NF, SJ, SP, you're going to know what that means, and you know what you are. And what is your spouse? And then how do you connect with one another? And that's where we want to head for the balance of our time together, is to consider, okay, in light of that, how do you connect? Like, let's first, honey, let's talk about, because there may be some sharks and crabs out there that are married to one another.
Right.
And we won't have time to go through every scenario, because there are multiple scenarios. But let's just talk about a couple, because the point is, know yourself. We've said this all along. Know yourself, know your partner, and then know your couple personality, what you are together. So for you and me, our couple personality is shark crab.
Shark
and
crab.
You know what? I feel like we have a pretty good thing going.
Yep.
With our personalities, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We are both noted for our intelligence. Sharks can tend to use their intelligence to envision the future and drive towards it. Crabs will use theirs to practically analyze what their five senses are telling them. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So both you and I are kind of like, we think through things, strategies, different things. Like, as a crab, I know that I'm also a feeler, and so I may think through things a little bit more, looking at the impact on the people around us, or I'll look at the impact on you. Like, how will David respond to this, blah, blah, blah. How is this going to impact him? You are not a feeler. and you're just a little bit more driven with your thought process. So I feel like we help balance each other out because I understand your drive, but kind of soften the edges a little bit.
And it's important to note that your response is not rational, and
Yes.
my response is not caring for people, but I can be logical, rational, and really care for people, and you can really care for people and still remain logical and rational. And so one of the examples with this is that recently we were talking about a business trip that I need to take for the college. And
Right.
so in my role, I need to travel every once in a while. And there was a trip that I'm planning for the fall.
Right.
And I kind of have control about when this trip happens. And so I see the big picture of, okay, I need to take these specific trips during the calendar year. And so I say, hey, I think that it should happen at this time. And so I run it past you, and I think out loud an awful lot because I'm an extrovert. But as a shark, I'm kind of like, I have this planned out and I want to do this, but I'll run it past you. And I think where you and I have learned the dance with our personalities is you think through some detail. You gave me some feedback on my original idea with dates that I hadn't really thought about some of that detail behind it and how it would impact specific relationships and some of the other things.
Specifically me.
Yes, you, but then you thought through also some family impact it has as well.
Sure.
So I think even in how we process decisions, we're valuable for one another.
Right. Yeah, because we'll still revisit that conversation because we'll end up coming to the best conclusion and what will work, for both of us and for others. So,
and one of the key takeaways that we have to remember is let your partner influence you. No matter if their personality, and then their value. Now you can actually play into that their value that they bring to the table based upon their ocean animal.
Yeah. So one of our positives here is that this duo of a shark crab contains the ingredients to produce great results. The mixture of the shark's vision and the crab's practicality can produce solutions that are far-reaching and achievable.
Yeah.
So, I feel like that's definitely something that we've had since the beginning, because your personality, once again, is who you are by nature and nurture. And when we met, this was already established as individuals who we were. And even though we've been together for a long time now, I still feel like even from the beginning, that was we've always kind of had a strength in that area where we mix a little bit more of the vision with the practicality. And just like you just unpacked with the calendar situation, we've applied that to a lot of different areas. Whether it's taking trips or projects around the house or financial goals. I mean, we've had that discussion over the years too. You see a lot more of that vision casting, even simple things like house projects. Like, I am fine with living in our house. I may look at the walls and be like, maybe we should paint, but I usually don't just jump right in and do something like that. But you'll come along and be like, you know what? I think we should do like a couple of these projects around the house. What would you think would be one that you would like to start with? Like if this, and this. So you've always had this like vision casting out there a little bit more, but you'll bring it to me to help let me process it, because you know that I have to kind of sit on it for a little bit and I have to process it. And then it's like, okay, that makes sense. We should do that.
Yeah. And it's at the same time that personalities can butt heads. And so if we are the example, and because of time, we're going to keep down the track of what a crab and a shark, how they relate. What are some of the challenges that a crab and a shark can face with one another?
Mm-hmm. So let's see. It says here, relationships can become, the relationship can become contentious at times because the sharks ask why the goal can't be achieved, and the crabs will answer with a history lesson or other specific data that refute the shark's optimism.
Yes. And
And so,
I
yeah,
think,
that's true.
yeah, and I think for me personally as a shark,
Because I remember everything.
everything. I think as a shark, I know that there've been a couple times that I've come to you over the years and said, "Hey, I really think we should do this," and then you'll give feedback to it, and it'll kind of I
criticize.
I walk away thinking, "Oh, she just rained on my parade," and
Yep.
I'm just bummed about that, and it's like, but there on the positive side of that is it's kept us in check that we didn't, because I'm ready. I'll just grab your hand. Hey, let's jump off the cliff. Let's go. And you're more one that would hold back. The crab personality would rightfully hold back and say, okay, hold on. What's at the bottom of this chasm? What are we going to land on? And where are we headed with this leap? And so it helps. And not that I'm not thinking through things totally. I think a dolphin would be more of a free spirit to jump, but me more of like taking on big projects or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but if you feel like when you've given certain ideas or whatever over the years, and if I have like rained on the parade or poo-pooed it or criticized it in my challenges, there are some times where you have went ahead and just written that off because you saw me as blocking the goal. Mm-hmm. And so, and so that's happened before. And I suppose like if it was really, really like important, it may come up again. Mm-hmm. But, I'm sure that there have been certain things that you've wanted to do or, and I've kind of blocked it. And then you just kind of like are like, all right, I'm just going to write that off and move on because you don't want to waste your time with it.
Yeah. So, well, folks, here's the deal: is that there are 4 different ocean animals. Hopefully, this little introduction of this podcast has been helpful to you. That you may find that you're either a crab or a dolphin or a whale or a shark, and you're married to one of those others or the same as you. And the idea is, once again, know yourself, know your partner, and then know your couple makeup. And then how will you seek to be productive with one another to raise the strength of your relationship for greater satisfaction and impact on the world around you. Right. I want to give, before we get to the verse of the day, I'd like to give an invitation to folks, because you may have listened the last 3 weeks, part 1, part 2, part 3, and you say, hey, I want to know more about that. 2 opportunities that Theresa and I want to offer to you. Number 1 is through our coaching. We coach couples all across the nation, and some in person that are close to our area and others via Zoom. And if you're interested in exploring your personalities and the impact that it has upon your marriage, we'd love to meet with you all as a couple. And so reach out to us. You can find us through our normal means, but send a message through our website at oneanothermarriage.org, or you can catch us at info@oneanothermarriage.org. That's our email address. And we'd love to be able to meet with you and your partner, and probably a coaching sessions of about 3 to 4 sessions would be a wonderful time together to be able to coach you up on this direction. The second opportunity is if your church organization would like to have Theresa and I come in to speak about personality in marriage. We offer that as either a seminar or a weekend retreat, and we would love to talk to you about that as well.
Right. And just a reminder, too, I think we've said this in the earlier podcast leading up to this one, that you will not be able to find these ocean animal types on the internet. They are exclusive to, like we said, our friend unpacking them, building that. But we did direct you, if you wanted to just put in your 4 letters that you think you are. There's a lot of information that you can find about, your personality and who you are and who you're married to, and read off some of those strengths and challenges.
That's right. So the verse of the day is?
Yeah, the verse of the day is coming from 2 John 1:5. It says, "And now I am not writing you a new command, but one we have had from the beginning. I ask that we love one another." 2 John 1:5.
Very good. That's awesome. Folks, thanks for listening today. And until next time, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, rate, review, whatever your podcast platform accepts or requests. And most importantly, we want to encourage you to hit that share button in whatever platform you're in. Most of you are listening in Apple iTunes, and that's a great place to write a review and hit 5 stars. We really appreciate it. It helps us to be able to reach more couples. And when we reach more couples, you are partnering with us in this endeavor. So hit that share button right away, and let's encourage couples together. We thank you for listening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.